Hey there, my name is Sean, and this is Suicide Noted. On this podcast, I talk with suicide attempt survivors so that we can hear their stories. Every year around the world, millions of people try to take their own lives, and we almost never talk about it. We certainly don't talk about it enough, and when we do talk about it, when we do engage, we're not very good at it. Most of us are really bad at it. So one of my goals with this podcast is to have more conversations and hopefully better conversations with attempt survivors and ideators, in large part to help more people in more places hopefully feel a little less shitty and a little less alone. Now, if you are a suicide attempt survivor or past guest and you'd like to talk or talk again, please reach out. hello@suicidenoted.com. If you'd like to learn more about this podcast, there's plenty of information in the show notes, the podcast description, and our website, suicidenoted.com. You can follow us on social media. The big three right now are YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. And of course, announcements, more information coming very soon about the national tour. Let's roll. Finally, we're talking about suicide on this podcast. My guests and I don't typically hold back. In fact, we rarely do. So please take that into account before you listen or as you listen. But I do hope you listen because there is so much to learn. Today I am talking again with Kay. Yes, it's an update episode. Kay lives in Wisconsin and she is a suicide attempt survivor. Kay in Wisconsin. We talked in August. For our audience members, August 21st, 2023. Check it out because we're not going to go over the whole episode again here. One of the things you mentioned, Kay, when we talked, and it was in the blurb in the very beginning, which I do with every episode, was how the Black community, I don't know the exact words, just was challenges with mental health, talking about mental health, right?
Yeah, I guess to sum it up, basically just I had concerns with the way that the Black community dealt with mental health because of my personal experiences when I did go to like a church leader or an authority figure. I was basically told, like, you've got demons in you and you just need to pray. And I felt like that's not really a good way to approach the subject of mental health within Black people. And I still feel the same. I still feel like the Black community still has many struggles with talking and dealing about mental health. So not that I personally go to any church leaders or anything, but I still have people in my family who their main, I guess, problem solver is prayer, which can be fine if that's what you believe. I do think at some point it is healthier to wake up and realize that prayer is not going to fix every problem that you have, but it's fine if you pray and it brings you solace. But I don't think that a young person going to you and saying, hey, I'm struggling really badly with depression and suicidal ideation, to tell them, oh, just pray about it.
Right. This podcast started 5 years ago, more or less. You think there's been any progress in this suicide world?
I believe that there has been no progress. I feel like in certain ways, I kind of have been contributing to the system that's currently in place that's not really helping anybody. And I still feel like there is a silence around conversations about suicide and mental health that is more prevalent than I noticed before. And I'm not sure if it's because I wasn't paying attention before or if there's like this push for censorship that's kind of been getting in the way more often recently.
And I think it's important. I want to make a distinction, but that's just my take, that like the conversations around mental health, yeah, but suicide is its own thing. Not its own thing, but it's like a whole other animal.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about like depression.
Yeah.
We'll talk about anxiety. When we talked, how many suicide attempts had you had?
At that point, I considered my suicide count to be, not the count. Hold up. Sorry. That was wrong phrasing. But like my attempts to be 1.5. An original attempt where I kind of chickened out halfway. And then I had a second attempt where I went through with it until I got found.
How old are you now?
I'm 29. I'll be turning 30 in a couple weeks.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
29 to 30. Big, big, big. And I know this to be true, Kay, but you'll tell me if I'm wrong. Everyone's like, oh my God, you're 30. And you're feeling like, and what?
Yeah. I feel like after I turned 27, it was all just the same.
Was your first attempt or half attempt? How old were you for that?
I was around 16, 17.
Was that the half attempt?
Yeah. And then my actual like full-blown attempt, I was 17.
Okay. So that first attempt, you used the word chickened out. Your words, not mine.
Mhm.
What was your method?
That was pills. So I'd crushed up, a bunch of, like, over-the-counter acetaminophen and put them into a glass of water,
Mm-hmm.
and the plan was to drink it, and then I drank about half of it, got scared and threw it up, and then just went to sleep afterwards.
Right. And then the one at 17, where was that also pills?
No, that one I tried to hang myself in the school bathroom.
Oh, shit. Now I remember. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. You went to a hospital?
Mhm. After the second one, I did go to the ER. Yeah, I spent quite some time in inpatient mental health, and then also there was a residential stint that I did in, Indiana, which is out of state for me. Those are, like, the only hospital stays I've had for behavioral health. I
Yeah.
recently got forced into going to the ER. Yeah, by my doctor's office, which I'm pretty peeved about. I contacted my doctor's office looking for a referral to behavioral health, and they were like, "Oh, go to the ER, or we're gonna make you go," basically.
So 17, you have an attempt. You go to a psych unit for how long?
Originally, the first time I went was just for 1 week,
Okay.
and then the second time I ended up going, my sister convinced my mom to take me, and I ended up in inpatient for a month while they were trying to get me into residential. And then in residential, I did that for 2 months, and they kicked me out early because I was originally supposed to be there for 6 to 8 months. They kicked me out early because of insurance. After that one, I had one more inpatient stay. The entire hospitalizations took up about, I wanna say, a school year. Most
Damn.
of the school
Right.
year, I was
Right.
either in the hospital or, doing day treatment.
In Wisconsin.
Yeah, except for that Indiana stint for
Right.
residential. But yeah,
Now,
most of it was in Wisconsin.
before I say the next thing, I said thank you for reconnecting with me. It's good to see you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I've forgotten what you looked like.
Oh no, I'm handsome as always. Got better lighting though. I got way better lighting. As you age, you just get better lighting and offsets the aging. You know what I mean?
I mean, maybe I need to do that. I feel like my lighting over here making me look
Yeah.
so.
So hang on. So about 10 years, more or less, after all of that happened at 17, we talked for the podcast
Yeah.
in 2023. And now we're reconnecting in 2025. The questions, and I have several, probably not surprising. Have you tried since?
So back in December, I don't wanna call that one an attempt just because it wasn't really intentional or anything like that. I was sitting in my car in the garage. I had just gotten home from class, and I just was very, I don't know, I felt out of it. I felt like I don't wanna have to get out and go in this house and do my homework and do all the other household things that I have to do, and life had just been like, I had been very stressed because of school, and so I kinda just was like, I don't feel like doing anything. I don't even feel like getting out of this car, so I should probably just stay in the car." And so I closed the garage door with the car still on and running, and I just kinda sat in there for a while, and I don't know, was waiting. It wasn't like this was an intentional, I had planned it type thing. It was more of just like, I don't really feel like doing this anymore. So I just stayed in the car. Like I said, I was waiting for a while. I don't really know what for, to pass out, to change my mind, whatever. But I got a text message from my niece. I had forgotten that I was supposed to pick her up from school. So I was like, oh, that's very selfish of me. I just completely abandoned the kids. They're probably sitting outside. It was December. They're sitting outside of the school building waiting for me. I should probably go pick them up. I ended up leaving that situation. I thought about it later. I was like, oh, that was probably something really bad that just happened. I should try to figure out, like, what that was about. What do I do now? And so I didn't really do anything with it. Normal me procrastinating on my emotions and shit. And so time passed. I want to say probably like a week after I emailed you about an update episode.
Mhm. Which is what we're doing right now.
Yes. About a week after I emailed you, I was having some really, like, really strong suicidal urges. I text the 988 number. It left me feeling pretty, I don't know, like, not uncared for, because clearly someone was taking time to
Yeah.
sit down and talk to me, but it was
Right.
also like, I texted them, told them that I was feeling suicidal. they hit me with all the usual questions. Do you have a
Right.
plan? Do you have
Yeah.
access? All that good stuff. We got to a point where they asked me if I had access to any firearms, like were there any in the house with me? And I was like, no, I don't have any, but I do have an idea of what I would do to take my own life. The lady took a minute to respond and she texted back, okay, well, since you don't have any access to firearms, we just want to ask you a few more questions for research purposes. And I sat there and I'm like, I'm literally being probed for research data. Like I'm a fucking science rat. I kind of just ended the chat there and I took some pills. This was about a week after we talked. I don't remember the exact date, but it was
Wait, hold up.
yeah.
I didn't reach out to you about an update this episode. It was recent.
Yeah. So I emailed you. I can check the date. I don't remember the exact
The
date,
date
but I know
doesn't matter. How long ago, more or less, did you have the conversation or the text with 988?
it was about a month ago.
When we talked originally to last month, you didn't have any attempts.
No, aside from that weird garage incident,
All right, what happened last month?
I had only had like a one drink that night and I had been stressed as well from school and just in general sad. And that night I was having, like I said, a lot of breakthrough suicidal ideations, really like strong urges to just go and do something to myself. So I'm like, I don't really want to end up in a situation where I try and regret it at this point in my life or try and then end up hospitalized. So I'm like, let me text the suicide hotline. And that's when, I texted them. I told them about what was going on, what I was feeling. And then they asked if I had any access to guns. And then when I said no, I was kind of just like, okay, well, you're not as urgent. Let's ask you some questions for research. And then I said, okay, fuck you. I'm hanging up. I'm just going to go since this is pointless.
What do you make of that?
I don't know what to make of it other than just thinking about how the system really sucks. I feel like they always tell us in school, because I'm still in nursing school, I'm almost done, but they always tell us in school, and then they also tell us at work because I still work in mental health. They say treat every statement of suicide as like something very serious. You shouldn't just breeze past it or credit it to something else or whatever.
Yeah.
You take everything very seriously, and
Yeah.
I'm like, the system does not even adhere to its own like teaching. So I'm like, how the fuck am I wasting my time with you guys? You guys aren't even living up to your own word. And then if you're not imminent risk, you're just a statistic.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. If you hint at that imminent risk questions, and then if not, you're just like, we've got some questions for you for our data collection.
Mhm.
None of that really feels particularly humane.
No.
And
Mm-mm.
and Kay, you will piss me the fuck off if you don't. If you, as a nurse, you're not humane.
I hope that I can be a good, humane, and, empathetic nurse. I feel like I still have that empathy in me for most people, not the asshole. Especially working in healthcare and then being a student going on my clinical rotations and stuff. I see a lot of people that I'm like, you should not have joined if you don't want to do your job, but then you also don't want to deal with other people. It's my opinion.
How often do you ideate?
Nearly every day.
What does that look like or feel like?
For the most part, it's kind of like daily thoughts of, I don't want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Very passive ideation.
Yeah.
Normally stuff that I can manage by distracting myself with other, activities or tasks or whatever. But then there are times when my depression gets really bad and the ideation kind of just ramps up and I end up not being able to focus on anything except the thought of, I just want to die like right now. Whereas most of the time it's, I don't want to be here. I want to die. But then like I said, there are times when I'm like, for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, I'm like, I just want to jump off of a bridge or I want to ram my car into a wall or, whatever. Like I actually want to do something to myself.
Do you see a therapist?
No. So
I'm not judging you.
no, it's not that. I get frustrated when I think about my recent attempt for therapy because I ended up in the freaking hospital and I was very upset with it. After that whole 988 incident, I had taken some pills in an attempt to die and it didn't work. 2 days, 3 days after that, I contacted my doctor's office looking for a referral to behavioral health. So I work at mental health in a mental health hospital, and my insurance will cover that specific site without any referral. But if I go anywhere else other than that site, they need a referral. And I'm like, I'm not going to go to my job to get, you know, mental health help when I know all the people who fucking provide the mental health help here. So I'm like, I need to go somewhere outside. And so I hit up my doctor's office, sent them a little email on our portal website, whatever, requested behavioral health referrals. They contacted me the next day, asked me asked me like, what do you want a referral for? Trying to get more information. Like, are you in imminent danger? Things of that nature. I didn't tell them about the pill. I just told them I had been having increased suicidal ideation. Didn't have a plan, and I wasn't intending on acting on the plan, although I did kind of have a plan and I was. But you know me, I know the system. I'm like, I know how to answer these questions to get what I need without getting locked up. So I told them I didn't have a plan and I didn't have any intention. And basically they basically pulled you need a referral. To get a referral, you need to be evaluated. And I'm like, yes, that's fine. They told me that we can do an office visit if they have a same day appointment available, or if they didn't have a same day appointment available, they would need me to go to the ER to get assessed. And I said, I don't want to do ER. Can I do a non same day referral? Like they were trying to get it done that day. I was not about to go to the ER. So I said, is there any day where I could do an office visit for an assessment that's not today? And they said, we have some available. There's one tomorrow. And I'm like, okay, sweet, I'll take that. And then the lady on the phone, she told me, let me talk to your treatment team first. So she puts me on hold, goes and talks to my treatment team. She comes back, well, treatment team feels that it would be inappropriate to wait until tomorrow to do an assessment for you. And I'm sitting there thinking, why the fuck did you offer it then? Why the fuck did you mention it?
They offered that, and that woman said that. Really, what do you think's going on?
Honestly, I think it was a lapse in clinical judgment for her on her part. I feel like if I know, for example, that I can't provide something to someone that they are asking for, I would not offer that as an option. If my patient wants cookies and all we have is pudding, I'm not going to say, "Do you want a cookie?" "Oh, I can't get a cookie. Here's pudding." I'm not gonna offer you something that, I know is not gonna be available for you. So I really think because even before she went to talk to my treatment team, she's like, "We really like to get you assessed today, but we do have an option for tomorrow." And I said, "Well, let's pick the option for tomorrow." And she's like, "Hang on. Oops, sorry. Can't do the option for tomorrow. It's gotta be today." Why would you offer that? That irritated me.
It's a good question. Can I just tell you what I think?
Yeah.
It's all about insurance. It's all about risk mitigation.
Mhm.
It's the only thing that matters.
Could be. I mean, insurance, they have their hands in everything, so why not this, right?
I don't know. I mean, it's, case by case, but like I don't know. And again, I could be totally wrong. When's your birthday, Kay?
The week after next week. I'm a Gemini, so
so
my birthday is May 22nd.
You're Gemini, and you're gonna you're gonna make it?
To my birthday this year, yeah, I've got plans for my birthday.
Right.
I'm taking my mom on a trip to Canada for my birthday. Yeah, she's getting older, getting sicker. Canada's been one of her bucket list items, so I'm like, let's just do it because I don't know how long she's going to be around for. After that, who knows how much longer I'm going to be around.
When you think about it, do you think about a method? Think about how you're gonna do it.
Yeah, I do know how I'm going to do it. That garage incident, it just felt very easy. It didn't feel scary at all. I kind of just let it happen. And I feel like that would be a good way to go out. Get a bottle of Jack Daniel.
Yeah.
Get in the garage. Maybe take a couple NyQuil. Pass out and die there.
I mean, let me ask you a tough one. Why do you want to die?
I'm just tired. I've been dealing with this shit since I was 12. When I was a teenager, I always said, oh, there's no way I'm making it past 18. Then when I turned 18, it was like, oh, there's no way I'm making it past 25. And here I am, almost 30. And for a long time, it was kind of a situation where I was like finding reasons to keep going. And I had gotten to this for a long stretch of time, this mindset of build a better future for yourself, a future that you can look forward to. But recently, the suicidal ideation hit me, and I'm like, what is the purpose of all of this? I've been dealing with this shit since I was 12, nearly 2 decades, and none of it has gotten better. What is the likelihood of it getting better after I accomplish my goal? Probably not high.
When you say this shit, what do you mean?
Just the depression, the constant sadness and exhaustion and self-hate. I had so much self-hate. I'm a very self-depreciating person, and
Yeah.
I don't wanna live being this sad. I feel like there's no point in suffering through life just for the sake of living, so
Do you have friends?
I have 2 friends. One of them's fairly new. I don't know if she really considers me a friend, but
When I talk to anybody who wants to die and says it the way you say it, like what I always want to know is like, how do you get up in the morning and go to nursing school? How do you go to the fucking grocery store? Like, what is that thing that allows you to do that stuff, knowing the other thing?
like I said, for a long time, it was just that constant thought of build a better future for yourself. I'm like, yeah, shit sucks right now, but if you keep pushing at it and you achieve your goals of becoming a nurse, making money, being able to travel, maybe you'll be happier in the future. And I clung on to that for so long. It's what helped me pay my bills every month and get up and go to work so that I could pay my bills and dealing with having to constantly put a mask on and being exhausted by that all day, every day. But this recent bout of like severe SI, I kind of just was like, what's the point? You're almost 30. It's been almost 2 decades. I can't take another 2 decades of this. I can't take another decade of this. I probably can't do this for another 5 years. If it's gonna take so long for me to find happiness, like I might as well just quit because this is exhausting.
It must be weird, among other things, to feel like the natural, probably inclination to survive, balanced with what you just said. Does it make you sad that you're gonna die? Does it make what is it? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, how does it feel?
It doesn't make me sad, I don't think. Recently, my thoughts of death itself has changed a bit. I watched this documentary called Surviving Death on Netflix, and it was about like people's experiences with passing and coming back or being reborn. I know the last time we talked, I said that my opinion of death was that like once we die, we just die. We go into a void and there's no pain or suffering or anything like that. That's not necessarily scary. It's not necessarily a happy thought to think of death that way, but it was a better option to me than what my life currently possessed. And so recently, because of this documentary and just like me thinking, overthinking everything, I feel like there's got to be something else after death, even if it's not in a religious context. I
Mhm.
do believe in reincarnation. If you think about it, the amount of time that time has been in existence, all these billions of years before us and the billions of years that'll come after us, there's no way in the entire expanse of time that this is the only time that this sensation of life will ever be felt by me.
When you say you're gonna be reincarnated, possibly, are you reincarnated as a person, a thing, an animal, what, like a spirit? What do you imagine?
I imagine a living being, not
Mhm.
necessarily a human, could be an animal, maybe a plant, anything that's got like sensations.
Yeah. How fucking crazy would it be if you came back as me and I came back as you? And you were and then you had a podcast called Suicide and you were interviewing me and I was you.
That would be wild. No offense, I don't know if I would want to keep staying around for that. Not that you are not a great person. It's just I listening to you on the podcast.
Hold up. Is this getting a little racial?
No, no.
You don't want to be a middle-aged white man, Kay? What's the problem here?
Well,
What
no,
the
I don't think I wanna be a middle-aged white man either, but you
fuck?
also sound very, I don't know, sad, like
I
you're
am
struggling, and I'm like, once I tap out of this struggle, I don't wanna.
like once we tap out, let's get to something better. Yeah.
Yeah,
Do you listen to the podcast anymore?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I sound sad?
Yeah, not
Oh no, you're not gonna
necessarily
hurt
like.
my feelings because I am sad. Tell me.
Yeah, it's not necessarily like in the way that you speak or anything, not that there is a sound to sadness or anything like that, but it's just some of the stuff that you say, I'm like, "Oh, this guy's going through it," or
Mm,
"He's been through it," or, the trauma of his past is kinda, like, still left its mark on him, and I'm like, "Eh."
yeah, I hear you, man. What do you get out of the podcast?
It's still interesting to me to hear stories of people who are
Mhm.
also struggling with the same things that I'm struggling with or who have come out of it on the other side and have completely different things to say about it than what I would have said about it. But there's something, I don't know, very interesting and comforting
Mm,
hearing unedited or more raw, unfiltered stories. Like listening to people and like you said earlier, in our conversation, or like kind of like what we talked about, the censorship of suicide. You can talk about depression, you can talk about anxiety, but you can't talk about suicide. Just having something that I can relate to really help make me feel less alone. And so this podcast isn't hurting anybody, right? I
I
can
hope not. I don't know. I don't know. It's not the goal.
No, it's not. I can tell that like everybody who comes onto your podcast to be a guest is very for education and
Yeah.
for compassion and for solidarity
Yeah.
and not to like in the eyes of society cause trouble or influence anybody or anything like that.
I mean, if that ends up being me, please like shoot me a message. Be like, you're done. Stop.
No.
Lose a
No,
problem.
I mean if we lose you, we've got no other voice on these platforms.
Why'd you want to talk again?
So originally, I wasn't planning on talking. I think I mentioned that in the email too,
Mhm,
because I'm like, nothing's really changed.
mhm.
I don't really have much of an update aside from like the stuff that happened in December, which I'm like, nobody really wants to hear about that. But I was talking to the new friend that I made. She also has mental health struggles.
Yeah.
And we haven't told each other everything, but I did mention to her that I was on this podcast before. And I didn't say what it was about. I just said it was a mental health podcast. And she was like, oh, cool. And then I mentioned that you had recently started doing updates with your guests. And she was like, oh, you should do that. And then let me listen to it. I'm going to call her K too, because her name also starts with K.
All right. Well, shout out to Kate too. Hope you're listening. Do you recall back in the late 2023 when our podcast episode came out, yours, I should say, did you listen to it?
Yeah, I listened to it. I didn't like the way I sounded, so
Yeah.
I didn't listen to it again for a long time.
Right.
Did listen to it again today just to kinda get, like, a refresher of what we talked about.
How was that? Was that weird?
Still weird, yeah, I still don't like my voice. I never thought I had a Midwestern accent, but I heard it in the podcast.
As,
I was very put off by it. I'm like, "Okay, no public speaking."
did anybody else hear the episode that you know of?
No, not that I know of.
Yeah. I only asked that because I'm curious what people might have said to you, but doesn't
Mhm.
apply. Did I ask you about the pink and purple pill back then?
You did ask me about the pill, it didn't have a color back then.
I know, no, it's changed. That's very observant of you.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've changed. I added the idea that no one knows the suicide. That wasn't always part of it. But okay, so back then, if I gave you the pill, which would allow you to die and no pain and no one knows the suicide, do you remember what you said then?
I said I would take it.
Okay. And then now?
I would still take it.
Right now.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
I wanna change my
Oh,
answer.
yeah.
I wanna take my mom to Canada, and then I would take it. I feel like if I were to take it with pause, I probably would end up overthinking some things or doing some stupid shit like saying goodbye or something like that. So I would probably wanna just take it without thinking too much about it.
Is there any chance that if we were able to talk to you from where do you think you're gonna go to heaven, hell, or nowhere? Reincarnated somewhere in between?
Yeah. The
Like, is there any
reincarnation.
chance that if we could communicate with you in that space after you had taken it, that you would regret having taken it?
I don't think I would've sorry, regretted it, just because I think back onto my past attempts now, and I'm like, I regret that I didn't die.
Right. Oh, well, that's
So,
so interesting. Yes.
yeah, I don't think that I would regret if I were to take the
Mhm.
pill and die or do anything else and die.
I don't know how often you have these kinds of conversations, but it fucking astounds me and rather impresses me that people who say what you say, who feel how you feel with respect to, I wish I had died back then, 5, 10, 20 years ago, and you just keep living somehow. That is fucking astounding to me.
Yeah, I don't know what it is inside. That's like
Yeah, no, I don't either.
reinforced maybe instincts or something, evolutionary. You gotta live, you gotta procreate, gotta spread your genes, gotta keep going, but I'm like, have we gone past the days of walking around on 4 legs or,
Mhm.
like, why do we have to have these drives
Right.
to keep us going? It would be
Yeah.
so much more simpler if we could just get it over with. I don't know.
Do you have anything in your life that brings you joy?
Not really currently. I was big into K-pop for a while. I still
Oh,
enjoy
shit.
music.
Hey, I
Yeah.
remember that. Did you go to Korea?
No, no. I I feel like just since school got, like, really intense the last couple of years, I don't have time to really engage in anything. I don't do the stuff that makes me happy anymore.
Mm.
And then I also just don't have the energy. Like, I know I was a big reader as well, that brought me a lot of happiness, but I'm like, I don't even I can't even concentrate on the first 2 pages enough to really read a book anymore. So
yeah. I'm sure if I didn't explicitly ask you, there was some question on myths or misconceptions. I always wonder, has your ideas around suicide or suicidality changed at all since we talked?
no, the ideas are still the same. I do think people have a right to decide to die with some sort of dignity, regardless of what society says is appropriate or not. I guess this is a new thought, misconception or whatever. The censorship I've noticed a lot around conversations of suicide really piss me off. Just because you can't even on fucking social media even talk about like death. You have to say unalive themselves. Yeah, it pisses me off. It pisses me off. Why can't we just have a normal conversation about death? Have a normal conversation about depression or suicide without all these censorships. People are so worried about their platforms being stricken down, getting the copyright strikes or well, that's totally different. That is not I don't fucking know. And it like defeats the purpose of having the conversation about it. We can't
Right.
even say it.
Yeah.
What's the purpose of having a conversation about it?
I got an email either yesterday or today
Oh no.
from YouTube. And I want to read it to you because I want my audience to hear this as well. Now, I didn't add any commentary. And for some reason, somebody or somehow picked up an episode that was actually quite old, like from a few years ago. And it says, we're reaching out because members of the YouTube community, including fellow creators, viewers, or staff, have expressed concern for your safety
Oh,
or well-being after
oh
coming
no.
across content you posted with topics related to suicide or self-harm. The podcast episode specifically is episode 124, which is a long time ago. And then it goes into if you or someone you know is experiencing blah, 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 we encourage you to blah, blah, blah. And then check this out. After all of that, in bold, we care about you. You're not alone. And help is available. Please take care, comma, the YouTube team.
Mm-mm.
Thank you, YouTube, for giving a shit.
Not
I
you
love you for
for
it.
welfare check. That's wild. That's strange. It's weird. I'm surprised they didn't try to get you to take your video down.
Yeah, well, that's another whole thing that I hope I don't have to deal with, but who knows?
Yeah.
Did we talk about memoir titles back in the day?
No, I don't believe that came up in our conversation.
Well, we need to. We need to.
Uh,
I typically am very, very good at this. It's a gift I have. It is. But I'm going to give you the floor now. Do you have an idea? And it could be actually more than one. We're just spitballing here. Either memoir title, don't worry, you don't need to write the book. It's not about the book. Or ideas about what Kay's memoir title might be.
no, I'm not a very creative person.
That was not the question.
Yes.
The
Okay.
question was what might be your memoir title?
I think about that every time it comes up in the podcast.
Really?
I do, because I sit there and I'm like, what would mine be?
Right.
I really don't know what I would want to title it. I feel very much like there's nothing significant in my enough in my life to be like, this is the title, or this is what the title should be centered on. Other than the initial moment where I felt like I wanted to quit living.
What do you mean?
I mean that that has been like the most significant thing I can think of that like really impacts my day to day and touches every part of my life is just the onset of suicidal thoughts.
Like you want to quit living?
Yeah.
Not a bad memoir title. I want to quit living.
I feel that's so generic. I've done before.
There's so many more. But I appreciate the fact that you're aware that it might be generic. I've heard far more generic things. I want you to embrace the possibility of using something about quitting living in your memoir titles. Now, I actually just chose the blurb. You weren't necessarily focusing a lot on that, but because there's so much emphasis, the challenges in the Black community, we might want to also take that angle a little bit too, something about race. And I know it may not be what you want, but it might be something to think about because you're kind of an ambassador.
Yeah. Oh, am I? Am I an ambassador?
I mean, like, what choice do you have?
Exactly. The world's going to judge me anyway, so I might as well.
I'm Black and I quit. No, because that sounds like you're quitting being Black. No, we don't want that. Whatever. Just let's play with it. Would you please play with it? And please, if you're going to take your life, and I don't want you to necessarily, but I honor your choice, let me know ideas before you do that. That would make me happy. And let me tell you something right now. When I say that make me happy, very few things make me happy. So happy I would go walk out of my little home here and walk around the block and I have a little pep in my step.
Oh, wow.
How about that?
That's from an email.
When's the last time you saw a middle-aged white guy have fucking pep in his step?
Yeah, they're far and few between. Well, I don't feel any tension with you. You seem very chill.
I have my moments, but they're not here. They're other places in my life. So, hey, we all have versions or masks.
I have an issue with people who think color is like it puts you in a place on the societal totem pole. Like I have an issue with that. If you're a middle-aged white man saying, I'm better than you, or acting like you're better than someone who's black or brown or yellow or whatever, right? That's what I have an issue with. But if you're just a middle-aged white man, being a middle-aged white man, being yourself.
Why does that make me feel so upset when you said that? There's something about you saying you're just a middle-aged white man being a middle-aged white man that makes me so sad.
Sorry.
But no, don't not be sorry. It's nothing to do with you. Trust me, it's all me. This wasn't the script though, was it? When were you born? In about what, mid-90s?
95, yeah.
This wasn't the script that you were going to off yourself by 30?
No, not back then. I don't think I had any inclination of being this type of person until I hit around 14. Couldn't picture this life for myself when I was 10. Everything was so just chill back then, and think about it now and I'm like, why couldn't I just stay that way?
It's kind of interesting though with the idea or belief in reincarnation, because then you could suggest it's not only that you will be reincarnated, it's that current K was reincarnated. Why would you be reincarnated to struggle so much?
Exactly. I don't know. A lot of other religions, or even people who aren't affiliated with any specific religion, say it's like about the karma that you accumulate in your life and you carry that over into your next life. So if you've got a lot of negative karma, then your next life is going to be hella shitty. I don't think that's the case. I think life just sucks in general. If you're born with the fortitude, maybe to deal with it in healthy, quote unquote, healthy ways, you might have a chance of being happy.
A chance.
A chance, yeah.
Are you in the exact same room that you were when we talked? I think you are.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's something like I wouldn't have been able to name this before we talked, but now that I see it, something about the curtain, I just like, I think this is the same space.
Yep, same exact space. I'm sitting in the same exact position as you.
Makes you be like, nothing has fucking changed.
No, it's all the same.
Not gonna make you feel better, but I'm in the same exact space too. I am. Same kitchen table, blurry background, bald head, everything's the same.
We're both just pushing forward in the same spot.
Are we though? Are we? Really? I guess. Sure.
Yeah. I think so.
What else do you want to share with me and the audience that hears this one day?
Not being dicks online. I'm sure your viewers aren't assholes, but there are so many assholes online. I think everybody needs to just be nice. If you can't be nice, mind your own business. That's it. It has nothing really to do with the conversation topic, but I'm like, that's one thing that gets on my nerves when I am online and I see just people being straight up assholes. I'm like, just stop. Get off the internet.
When are you supposed to finish your nursing program?
In December. This December, yeah, if I don't fail any classes.
If you don't fail, sure. And are you going to be a nurse or?
Yeah, I am, but I'm not going to be a psych nurse anymore. I've decided that I don't want to contribute to that system that I completely dislike and then also avoid. Like, if I'm avoiding it, how am I supposed to be expecting other people to come in and get help? So, no, I do want to be either hospice, mom and baby, or oncology.
But you got to stay alive to do that, so.
Mm-hmm.
Not telling you what to do.
No, I mean, I figure if I'm going to be around, sure.
Mm-hmm.
If I decide in a month or two that I'm done, then that's also an option.
But you're going to message me with possible memoir titles before
yes,
that.
I will shoot you a message.
You promise?
An email. I promise. Pinky promise.
That doesn't mean shit.
It means a lot to me.
All right. Well, it was cool seeing you again and reconnecting and talking. I appreciate it.
Thanks for sitting down and talking with me.
I never know how to end these, but other than just saying thank you.
Thank you. You also say that almost every time.
After almost 5 years, I still don't know how to do it.
Doesn't get any easier.
Money is a little metaphor for life. It doesn't get any easier.
That's true.
Cheesy, but true. All right. Have a good night, I hope, or at least decent. And take care. Thanks, Kay.
Thanks, you too. Bye.
As always, thanks so much for listening and all of your support. Special thanks to Kay in Wisconsin. Thanks again, Kay, for speaking with me. If you are a suicide attempt survivor and you'd like to talk, please reach out. I'd love to talk with you. hello@suicidenoted.com. Shoot me a message. I will get back to you ASAP, I promise. And if you'd like to learn more about this podcast, there are a few ways to do that. Perhaps suicidenoted.com is the best. You can see all our glowing reviews. Learn the 2 primary ways you can support this podcast. Read some of the transcripts, if that's your thing, from some of the earlier episodes. And a couple of presentations I've put together that I will be offering to schools, among other places. So it's all kind of interesting. It's all happening real fast. Check it out if you are curious. And our soon-to-be-announced information on the tour. Thanks very much. And that is all for this week's update episode. Stay strong. Do the best you can. I'll talk to you soon.